Abundance abounds on this Leo new moon. Keep watching to find out how you can make it work for you and soak it all up. Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to New Moon Musings. I'm so excited to be connecting with you guys today to talk about this Leo new moon happening on August 4th at 7:14 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11:14 a.m. UTC. And it's going to be a powerful one. For those of you who are old hat and used to me and used to watching this event, feel free to click on the timestamp below to go to the intro to get started with your reading. And for those of you who are new to me and just watching this for the first time, welcome. Stay tuned for a 1-minute clip to find out how you can make this new moon musings reading work for you all through the cycle. See you on the flip side. For those of you who are new to me, here's a quick little breakdown on how to make this reading work for you. The new moon cycle works where it moves in 3.5 basically days throughout that 28-day cycle. So sometimes you're in a phase a little bit longer or a little bit shorter. It is not linear. But what I do is I give you dates connected to each of the phases of the new moon cycle so that you can come back to the video after you've watched the whole thing, you've taken it all in, you come back to that video for those particular times so that you understand, okay, I'm in, the waxing crescent phase, and what do I need to know about that? What is transpiring in my world right now? And this information is really helpful because it's giving me perspective on what it is I need to learn, or maybe I need to pull back, or maybe I need to lean in a little bit more. So use this. It's kind of like the gift that keeps on giving. Use it throughout the month to support you. So let's get started. Today I'm going to be pulling cards from the Heavenly Bloom tarot deck from, I'm not going to say her name right, Noah Ikeda. I love the deck, by the way. It's a bit whimsical, a little anime. It's very fun. And then I thought for our affirmations, I would do a little something different. We've got the Dream Ritual Oracle cards, and this is Teresa Chung, and it's keywords. So instead of an affirmation, we're going to do a little keyword. And I like to keep things super freaking simple, always using the KISS method when we're talking about stuff. So it's always good to have a word association. So let's get to it. This August and moving into September is going to be a very powerful, energetic time for each and every one of us. And this is a time where you do not want to waste the energy that is available to you. This doesn't mean you have to work like a dog. You have to work yourself into the ground. But this is a time when it's going to be very important for you to be very clear about when an opportunity comes your way, you want to take advantage of it. So don't overschedule yourselves. And that happens, especially here in the Northern Hemisphere. This is our summertime. And, we want to have fun. We schedule 57,000 trips, and we've got parties and events and gatherings and all the rest of it. Nothing wrong with having a little bit of fun, but I am hearing that balance is going to be important because there are going to be amazing opportunities coming into your path. And if you don't have it in your schedule, or you are burned out because you're overscheduled and doing too many things, that's going to be a problem. So you want to keep that in mind. So let's dive in and see what we've got going on for the new moon reading. Here's our release card. And the release card is, what is it that I'm releasing from the previous cycle? And that's simply, a way for us to be reflective and to be intentional about saying, that's in the past, I'm letting it go. So let's see what we got here. 7 of Wands. 7 of Wands is a card of defense. And when we're talking about that 7 of Wands energy, I feel like in the past cycle, what was really transpiring was a lot of expectation, of others, requiring people to explain themselves. And sometimes it's really important to be able to explain yourself, and sometimes it's wholly and completely unnecessary and a little bit intrusive into what is sort of transpiring in your life, what's going on. I feel like there were a lot of ideas that were coming through in the last cycle that now, you had to kind of keep those, play your cards close to your chest and keep those things to yourself until you were able to enact them. And if you didn't, there were a lot of people who were either, I want to say scene stealing or stealing your ideas or poo-pooing your ideas and telling you, oh, you're crazy for thinking about that, or you shouldn't do that, or what about this? And I feel like you're letting that go. You don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to defend your ideas. You don't have to defend the choices that you make to live your own life. As long as you are living a life and it is not intentionally negatively impacting somebody and causing somebody harm or getting in the way of somebody else's path and choices, you're free to do what you want to do. People can like it or lump it. That's the way it is. I always like to say love and light. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. I'm moving forward, right? So we're releasing this idea that we are beholden to anybody or we owe anybody anything when it comes to our own choices in our own life and how we're choosing to move forward with that. So that's really positive. And I love this Seven of Wands energy as well, because when we're releasing this idea of needing to justify ourselves or feeling on the defensive, what we're really doing is we're freeing ourselves up to be liberated in the choices that we make. And it frees us up for more joy in our lives. So we'll take that. All right, our next card is our Soul card. And I love the Soul card in this reading because it really gives us an understanding, a clear picture on what we are learning as a collective, in this new journey that we're in. We all have our own individual paths, but we're also part of a collective. And the human collective is going through some major shifts and changes. So yes, it's about what part are we playing. Absolutely it is. But it's also important for us to have the big picture. And that's what this card represents. Nine of Cups. This card has been coming up so much for me in the last few months. And this is a card of wishes fulfilled. It's really stepping into the manifestation of it. This is I dreamed a dream and it became. I dreamed a dream and here we are. And I feel like this is really a card of hope for us right now when we're thinking about that soul card and what is the collective soul learning. We're learning that we are all co-creators of our own lives, and therefore we are co-creating this collective vision as well. And even though the vision isn't quite clear for everybody, we're still kind of in the messy middle of it. I'm seeing with this card that there's hope in being able to come together on what we want. And most people, not all people, but most people would like some level of harmony. Now, that level of harmony may be, or the definition of that level of harmony may be different for a lot of people. Some people's harmony is disharmony and discord. Other people's harmony is, I want to say, sort of more the traditional definition of that. But if we can all agree upon harmony, that's something. And that is a wish that is fulfilled. Also with the Nine of Cups, I feel that there's a level of expectation. It's interesting, that's the second time I'm using that word already. There's a level of expectation here in terms of what do I expect of myself? And I feel that there's a bit of an evaluation this month on my expectation of myself. Is it in harmony with where I'm going and growing? And is it really going to be conducive to the collective as well as to my own life? So Nine of Cups, this normally isn't a card of reflection, but I feel that it's giving us an opportunity to reflect in this month around what it is we're actually trying to achieve, and do our actions line up with that. Cups is also the realm of emotion, and it's the realm of the psychic. So I feel when it's wishes fulfilled, there's also a component here. It's a component of really stepping into the what is it that I really want? Do I deserve it? Yes or no? That's going to be the determining factor. in relation to how I'm actually going to get it. Now we're stepping into our new moon card, and our new moon card is on August 4th. Again, that's 7:14 a.m. Eastern Standard, 11:14 a.m. UTC time. And this energy is going to go from about the 4th to the 7th of August. We've got the Six of Swords. And the Six of Swords is a really great card for us to start this new moon cycle off on. Why? Because Six of Swords represents a journey that we're about to take, but it's a journey that involves some support, involves grace. It involves being seen, being acknowledged for what it is that you bring to the table. It's a respite. It's a break. It's someone saying, wow, I've acknowledged how much effort you've put into this. Let me help you, or let me take the load off. I see that you're carrying a heavy burden. How can I help? So I feel like collectively what's sort of transpiring this particular few days is the idea that people are going to kind of have their eyes opened to, my father has a saying, you know, when you pull your head out of your ass and you hear that pop, there's all of a sudden realization that you're not the only person on the planet, you know, that there are other people whose lives you affect. And this doesn't mean don't live your life, don't speak your truth, don't do what you need to do, but it means just be aware of the fact that everything you do does matter. It does make a difference. And so I feel like collectively there's going to be this energy of the majority of people kind of looking around and seeing things in a different way for the first time, perhaps seeing you or you seeing others in a different light. It's kind of like when you're meeting somebody for the first time and you're just getting to know them, and you know you go on for several months and you know you hang out and you learn all sorts of things about them, and then one day they start to share this extremely powerful story about an experience that they had, maybe a particular trauma they worked through, or you know, I always admire people who, you know, talk about their time in Doctors Without Borders or the Peace Corps, or you know, digging ditches in Africa for water. Like, that's just so out of my scope and realm. So when I find out that somebody has done that, I'm just like, oh my God, like, tell me more. What kind of a person, you know, is so selfless to be able to do that? So I feel like that's kind of what's going to be transpiring during this new moon energy, is people seeing things, people, places, and things differently, going that deeper layer and level, and really going, wow, I admire what you just shared, or I admire what you're bringing to the table, or I admire, you know, this environment. I never knew this environment could support me in this way. It's a bit of a shift in perspective, but it happens out of the space of, I want to say, you having to wave the red flag and say, hey, pay attention, listen to me. It's actually happening because there's an underlying current of energy that's encouraging everyone to open your eyes, to see things a little bit different. And how interesting that we were talking about the word harmony. 6 is harmony, balance, and alignment. So already in our reading, we're getting a little bit of that synchronicity that is popping up in the scene. So let's pull our keyword for this new moon energy in this new moon period of time. Ooh, we have the word request. And this is interesting. The 9 of Cups, wishes fulfilled, wishes granted, you know, having your heart's desire met, coming off into the 6 of Swords. Request. This is a good time for you to really get clear on what it is that you want to request from the universe, as well as from yourself. We talked about that reflective piece about, are my actions and choices in harmony with where it is that I actually want to go? Are they in harmony with the environment that I am choosing to create or to nourish, to nurture in order to get where I want to be? And this is really interesting. We've got an egg timer. So I feel that the request needs to be perfectly timed, or there's no time like the present. You know, now is the time to request this. Don't be afraid to ask for what it is that you need from the universe, as well as from those around you. The worst that can happen is someone says no, and you move on to the next. So it's really not it's really not a risky endeavor. Let's call it that. Okay, we are moving on to our waxing crescent, and this is happening on August 8th through the 11th. And this energy, so we're getting a few more cups here. It's a 5 of Cups energy. 5 of Cups typically is representative of a card of grief. What I keep hearing is there's a real sense in this next few days of, what is it I really need to let go of? I call this the card of spilled milk. Like, don't cry over spilled milk. You're just wasting your energy. It's, where am I at right now? Where do I want to be? What do I need to do? What next steps do I need to take to get me there? If you've been watching me for a while, you know that the messages that have been coming through, at least for the last 6 months, has been about the past is irrelevant. We need to let go of the past. It really does not serve us. As far as review and learning from it, yes, take those nuggets of wisdom. But those are, concentrated. They're compact. You don't have to drag the whole experience with you. I keep hearing, let go of stories. Pay attention to what stories govern your life and govern your choices. This is going to be a particular window of time where I feel the reflection of that, the acknowledgement of those stories, is going to bring about a lot of clarity in terms of what stories are keeping you stuck, what stories are keeping you in the cycle of grief. Now, loss is loss, grief is grief. It takes as long as it takes. It's painful. It's not fun when you're having to let things go. It's not fun when you're disappointed. Something doesn't turn out the way you thought it was going to. None of that has to do with anything with the price of rice in China. It's, where am I at now? Where do I want to be? What step can I take next to get me closer to that goal? So don't waste your energy on getting stuck in the past. And this is also a time to shed your stories. Maybe it's shedding the story of grief or loss and how that has shaped and molded you. Okay, it's shaped and molded you. You are who you are as a result of it. Do you have to acknowledge that every single day? Maybe not. Maybe that's the thing that's holding you back. Maybe somebody really helped you out of a bind and you have felt very beholden to this person for a really long time, and now suddenly you're noticing, I'm paying service or homage to this individual, but the dynamic between us has shifted or changed, or it's not giving me what it is, the freedom that I'm seeking, and I'm not giving that person the freedom that they're seeking or whatever it is that they need. But this person did this thing. Well, you can still love that person for that experience. You can acknowledge them once and for all. All it takes is one time to say thank you, for it to be valid, for it to make sense. So pay attention to the stories that have infiltrated your life, whether they're conscious or subconscious. And if you're like, well, how do I know what's subconscious? What are the stories that are subconscious? I go back to the request card. Request from your guides information. Request from your guides an ability to, bring it up to in the forefront of your mind. Show you an example of where there's a subconscious thought pattern that is going on in your mind, and then ask them to help you to release it. This is not a time where we have to go down the deep, dark well. This is a time to acknowledge, release. Catch and release, catch and release, catch and release. That's what it's about. Okay, so now we're going to our first quarter moon. And this is happening on August 12th through to the 15th, the energy in and of around that. Interesting, 7 of Swords. So we're really playing right now in the upper numbers, 5, 6, 7, 9. This is indicative energetically of us moving through a cycle. We're not at the beginning of something. we're moving through. So the August energy is really helping us to navigate that. And, you know, Leo energy is fire, the element of fire. Leo is passion and, hey, world, see me, and I've got a lot to offer, and my heart is so big, I'm in service, and I want to be in service to the collective. And so it makes sense that we've got these, I want to say, more active numbers, you know, a lot of work, effort, motivation that's coming through. And the Seven of Swords is a really interesting card to receive at this time. Seven of Swords is a card of integrity. And I feel that for some of you, you're really going to need to be paying attention to the people around you. I'm getting a work hit that things aren't going to be all that they seem. People are not going to be telling you the whole story. They're not going to be telling you all of the truth. And this has been, last year and this year has been a year of truth. And we're kind of hip to that jive now. So, you know, I'm sensing that you're giving me a piece of information, but you're not giving me the whole thing. You're holding back. Listen to that. Pay attention to that when you're getting a hit that, something smells rotten in Denmark, and I need to figure out what that is. The number 7 also is an opportunity for us to be, it's like checks and balances. It's the opportunity to dot the I's and cross the T's one last time before something really goes into full-fledged production or, experience. This is happening, right? So I feel like these days are giving us the opportunity to measure twice and cut once. I feel like I say that all the time lately. It's also a time for you to really pay attention to where you might be holding back from another person. And now I'm hearing sort of in relationships, this can be romantic or otherwise, where are you holding back your truth, your heart? Where are you maybe being a little secretive about your communication? Now, if you don't trust another person and you don't feel safe in sharing information because you know it's going to be thrown back in your face or it's going to be shared with another person, obviously listen to that and honor that. I'm not saying put yourself in harm's way, but this is an invitation to evaluate within, because there is an external energy about this month and people are witnessing and seeing what you're doing. So being internal about looking at, where am I withholding? Where am I not maybe being completely, fully honest and above board in my relationships? Where am I people pleasing? Where do I need to shake up the tree a little bit? So this feels really significant. Also, when I'm looking at this card, I'm seeing like wind blowing, right? And the swords is wind. It's connected to the energy of wind. But I see the wind blowing, and it's blowing all of these little fantastical, feels like jewels or gems that are going around. You have access to the truth all around you. It doesn't have to be a complicated process. It also doesn't need to be a soul-ripping process either in order to really connect with that truth. It's blowing all around you. So pay attention to what's blowing around you. All it takes is a shift in focus to be able to see, oh, there's a resource that I need. Let me take advantage of that. Let me use that right now. So I want to say, call yourself out. Sure, you can call other people out. I feel like it's less about that, unless you're feeling really, like that's what you need to do. It's less about calling other people out and more about maybe what you're observing about other people's integrity causes you to shine a light on your own, so that you can say, where can I improve? Where have I done that before? Where am I doing that now? Is that really working in my favor? Our key word for this one is balance. And I love that because let's face it, we all do this. This is not about pointing fingers and placing blame. This is about recognizing, okay, we all at some point in time or another have been dishonest, have withheld. Even if, let's say, you're a perfect adult, as a kid, we all go through those experiences because we're learning the game of life, and we are learning from, parental examples that, I mean, at least my generation as a Gen X, I was watching my parents who were like 19, 20, 21, 22 in today's standard. By today's standards, they're still babies trying to figure out life. Some of them aren't even, left college or whatever yet. And they're raising kids and trying to make a life and working full time and mortgage and, the works, right? So this is an opportunity for you to say, what do I need to bring in order for me to be in balance with this? I'm seeing a lack of integrity in some of my choices or in some of my withholdings. And what do I need to do to adjust that, to bring that a little more into balance? I am grateful for this person in my life doing this thing or showing me this thing, because it's allowing me to do that deep dive evaluation so that I can be better, so that I can improve myself and my interactions with others. Mr. Neo is coming to say hello. Now we are at our waxing gibbous. This is the 16th through the 18th of August. Very cool. We have the 8 of Laurels, and in this deck, Laurels is our pentacles. And so this is a Virgo card. This is a card of work, higher education. This is a card of mastery. It's saying, I've done a lot of the work and I'm now at a space where I'm starting to see the fruits of my labor. There is a bit of a harvest that has come in, but now there's still work and effort that needs to go into taking advantage of this harvest. There's also perfection of your craft. And so the energy that I'm feeling here in these next couple of days is really an attention to detail around the work and the effort that you need. And I keep hearing like the last lap, the final push. So there are a few of you that I feel are kind of in the process of getting ready to complete a project, something that's been going on for a long time. If it's not a work project, I feel that this is on a personal level. A hobby that you've been working towards, or, maybe some of you decided to take music lessons and it's your first recital and this is kind of a big deal. I feel that there's a level of pushing through you're so close to the finish line. You're pushing through to achieve that particular desired outcome. And I feel like this card is coming through as a level of support. Lean into the work. The work is there to help you, to assist you. This card also makes me think about the kind of work that is fulfilling. Like, you're enjoying it so much that it doesn't necessarily feel like work. You are sitting in that, and you might have worked a solid, 16 hours on this thing, but you don't feel tired in that drained sense. You feel fulfilled, liberated, motivated. You feel sated. This is exciting. I'm enjoying this. So pay attention to the pleasure principle in terms of what is it that I'm getting a lot of satisfaction out of in my life that is work. It's requiring effort, that I am learning a lot, but I'm also in that space of mastery and so enhancing the details that this is a beautiful thing. It feels good, it feels great, it feels amazing. I also want to say this is a particular window of time where you want to be cautious around what others are presenting to you in regards to, I feel like there are people around you that are going to be like the opposite of this. They're going to be trying to get out of work and getting you to do the work. Pay attention to projections. People who are projecting their things onto you, their woe is me stories. Pay attention to anyone who's being a little bit manipulative around trying to get you to do something or trying to get out of something. The thing that's coming to my mind is a perfect analogy is teenagers always trying to get out of with their siblings. I told mom that I'd do the dishes, but I'm not going to do them. You have to do them. I'm going to do this over here and blah, blah, blah. So just kind of be aware of that and, do with it what you will. But I want to say, make sure that whatever you're doing, that when you're looking at that path of mastery, is this is this helping me on that path of mastery by not speaking up or speaking my truth? Is this helping me to learn? Maybe it is one of those things where you're like, okay, you think you're getting out of something, but I'm actually really excited about this opportunity because I'm going to show the boss this amazing skill that the boss doesn't even know I have. And so this other person who always tries to get out of work and lands, goes in the pile of shit and lands in, looking like a rose all the time, I'm going to outsmart them. I'm going to take advantage of this. I'm going to see this as an opportunity. So I don't know, somebody needs to hear that. All right, we are now at our full moon, and the full moon is happening on August 19th, 2:26 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 6:26 p.m. UTC. This is called the sturgeon moon or the green corn moon. It's all about harvest, abundance, and isn't that what we're talking about today? Is there's so much opportunity, there's so much that you can really sink your teeth into this particular month, but you have to have your eyes wide open and you have to have space in your schedule to be able to take it on. Well, the full moon is bringing us to that, and I feel like coming off the Eight of Laurels, the Eight of Pentacles here, it's indicating, okay, there's something here, the harvest is here, and this is your time to put the work and the effort in to be able to take advantage of what is in front of you right now. But you have to do it right now because it's, the food will spoil. If the fruit is on the trees too long and it becomes overripe, it's not going to be very good. So now is the time to really step into that. So as we're tapping into this full moon energy, let's take a look here. Queen of Laurels. Oh, Queen of Pentacles. So she's a card of abundance. She's a card, the energy here is, come into my space. If there's something that you need, I'm happy to provide it. I'm happy to provide it. And not only am I going to give generously, but I'm also going to teach you how you can do this for yourself. And that's really significant because what's the saying? You give a man a fish, he eats for a day. You teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime, right? This is the concept here. She says, I'm very generous. I've got all of my ducks in a row. I've got everything here. The rabbit, I've got abundance. There's fertility. My love cup is full and overflowing. I'm happy to provide for you. And I also understand how important it is that you learn that you can do it too. I don't have some special superpower that says only I have the ability to do this or that or the other thing. My superpower is in empowering you. And so on this full moon, I feel that there's a lot of significant energy around empowerment. Who empowers you in your life? Who do you empower? Maybe you're feeling a lack of empowerment. Maybe take a look at the harmony in that or the balance in that. Where have you been neglecting empowering others? Sometimes when we feel a lack of something, sometimes when we are craving something, it's either because we're not giving it to ourselves or we haven't been really demonstrating that out into the world with those that we interact with, that's something that we want or need. We teach others how we wish to be treated. And the Queen of Laurels, the Queen of Pentacles, is a perfect example of that. She says, listen, here's how I got what I got. I can teach that to you so that you can do it too. And in doing so, there's a level of respect that is developed. So I want to say, are you respecting yourself? I feel that this is a question that's going to be coming up during this full moon. Are you respecting yourself? And that's hugely powerful. I also feel like this particular month, there's a real energy here that connects us to the heart space, to the truth of our heart, but I'm also hearing that our truth is shifting, our truth is changing. I'm seeing the Hierophant in my mind. It's okay if the truth or your belief on something starts to shift. Trust in the process because it's a sign of evolution. It's also a sign that you're ready to do some bigger things. And you might not be ready to do those bigger things in this moment right now, but there is going to be a moment in your moment right now when you will be ready for that. So I feel that many of us are being prepared. Queen of Laurels is preparing us through a shifting of our truth, through a shifting of how we're viewing ourselves and viewing the world at large. So this is going to be a powerful time. Again, this is a month where we're very external, but I'm getting a lot of internal focus while we are doing the external. And that's really significant because it's saying we're all in a space where we're ready to bring our A games. We're ready to bring more than what we have expected of ourselves or what others have expected of us for some time. We're reevaluating our expectations. Our key word is prepare. And didn't I just say that? We're being prepared for something new. God, I love it when this stuff works out. I mean, you can't make this shit up. So we're going to take a look at the egg here, and the egg is disintegrating. This is a belief that you have held for a really long time. We think about an eggshell as being pretty fragile. A lot of times that's what our beliefs and our truths are about, is they're pretty fragile. They're fragile because we're supposed to be a bit fluid with that. We're supposed to give ourselves the opportunity to, I want to say, dance around it, to feel into it. You know, a truth that you held as a child may not fit for you today, right? It just doesn't fit. I was just watching something, somebody was saying something on YouTube about this, and I thought, yeah, this is so right. You know, stories that we read as kids, or even fairy tales that we were told as kids, when you evaluate it as an adult, you go, what the? Like, what were we being taught? What were we being told about ourselves or about life or about our power or our lack of power? What was this about? This isn't true. We can see that now through our own adult experience. As a kid, that egg is intact and you're hanging on to it for dear life, right? So prepare. Prepare for the fact that the illusion of your truth or the illusion of your safety is just that. It's an illusion, and it's going to disintegrate because it's time for you to connect with something new. And it's a leveling up. This full moon's gonna be big, so really prepare yourselves for that. Okay, we're going to our disseminating moon, and this is on August 23rd to the 25th. And right away, I'm feeling in this energy, there's going to be some turmoil. There's going to be some bumpy road, and I feel that this is going to be happening in relationships on an individual level. The degree and severity of it, I feel, is going to be, dependent upon, what's already transpired in your life with this dynamic or with these particular people. But I am seeing some turmoil. And so you want to breathe through it. You really want to breathe through it. I feel like this is one of those things where it's going to look like a mountain, but when all is said and done and you've kind of talked it through, it's going to be something that it's tangible and it's easily handled, easily managed. It's something that you can really work with. So it feels really big, and then it's something that you can easily move through. So we have the Page of Cups. Page of Cups is a card of creativity. It is a message to be more creative. It's a message to let go a little bit of your structure, let go of the monkey mind ideas in your head about the way things should be and should look, and begin with something new. And I love that this is coming off of the heels of that Queen of Laurels and all of that reflection and that preparation that we're doing in the full moon. This is saying, wait, you prepared. This is now the space. This is why you didn't overschedule yourself, because now you're sitting at the beach. You're floating around and you got time to, pick up some seashells. You got time to dip your toes into the ocean. You've got time to, I want to say, just lay like vegetable, be like broccoli. It's also a time, creativity actually is an active state. So I feel like whether you're active in your mind with creative ideas and thoughts, or you're active in the actual creation of that inspiration that came through, I'm definitely feeling the Page of Cups is bringing a message to you that this is the way to do it. These next few days, I would say to you, it's not about doing the things that weigh you down or the things that, we all have those chores in life that we roll our eyes or we procrastinate on them because they're just not fun. This is not a time to do those things. Put those to the side or delegate them to somebody else. I like to say, especially for those of you who are in business for yourselves, find a way to get the money to bring in a little bit of help on those things that drain you, because all it's going to do, it's going to be money well spent. All it's going to do is free up your energy to be even more of the person that you already are in the services that are good for you, the services that you are doing and offering, the services that people are coming to you for. So delegate so that you have room to explore the creation process. I also feel here like somebody needs to hear the message that I just keep hearing like marriage isn't all it's cracked up to be, but I don't feel like they're referring specifically to necessarily to marriage, because not all of us are married, but it's like contracts. Like, what are you committing yourself to? What are you devoting yourself to? What are you marrying yourself to? Because when we marry ourselves, we tie ourselves into something. Pay attention to what you've tied yourself into, because it might not be creative. It might be the very thing that's stifling you. It might be the very thing that the Page of Cups is coming in to invite you to recreate, right? To destroy and then build something better, to create something better. So look at what you have committed yourself to on an emotional level, on a physical level, on a financial level. Really take a look at what you've committed yourself to, what you've married yourself to, because marriage is a tangled web. When you marry someone, you're bringing your whole lives together. And so there's a blending and a melding of that. And some things get thrown out in the wash, as it were. Some things that you felt were very individualistic to you, suddenly now, it's not the same, or it's put aside for something new. And not to say that's bad. It's more of a, is it still working for me? So it's not all it's cracked up to be. So pay attention to that, and look at your truths around that. All right, we're at our third quarter moon. This is August 26th to the 29th. Beautiful. We have the Eight of Wands. And when I forgot to say in the Disseminating and the full moon, happy Virgo. Happy Virgo season to all of the Virgos coming in. And so this shifts that energy. We go from the Leo season, everything's very external and fire, and now we have, let's pay attention to those details. We have prepared. And so now we're looking at, all of our ducks in a row, and how do we want to serve? And we're going to serve in a very structured way. So the Eight of Wands is awesome coming through here. Eight of Wands is a swift release. It's travel. I love that it's another 8. Again, we've gotten, the 5, 6, 7s, 8s. Like everything has been, those higher numbers and higher levels. So we are definitely moving through a cycle. It's not the beginnings of something necessarily. It's the wrapping up or in the middle of that cycle. And I feel like this is a particular window of time where you're going to really be evaluating, this just isn't working for me. I have to let this go. I really need to release this. And it's going to be very freeing, because some of us can get very caught up in our heads. We overthink, we overanalyze, right? Analysis paralysis keeps us stuck, keeps us rooted. And sometimes that keeps us in relationships that are toxic, too long, or we overstay our welcome out of fear of the unknown, what is coming next. We stay in jobs too long because we're like, oh my God, what if I'm not going to be able to replace the level of income? I'm miserable and it's a horrible place to be, but it's, serving this part of my needs right now. And so you're discounting all the other needs to to supply this one. It's lack, right? It's that scarcity and lack space. Eight of Wands is saying, let that shit go. It's time. And I feel like there's going to be a clean break. Whatever you let go during these 3, sort of days, there's going to be no anxiety around it. There's going to be no hemming and hawing. Did I make the right choice? You're just going to feel it. It's going to be done and you're never going to look back. And I feel like that's important. That's significant. That's what we need in this particular window of time, because you are getting ready to move in. We're preparing for fall. This is the harvest time. You're recognizing at the beginning of this season, or of this cycle, I made room. I made room for these wonderful opportunities. Well, now I'm really enjoying the fact that I made room for it, because there's a lot that's coming in. And I want to be able to take advantage of it in the ways that's going to work for me. And sometimes that requires a little bit of planning, a little bit of structure to make that happen. But I'm not going to look back. I'm not going to feel guilt around what I'm releasing, because I'm releasing it knowing I've already had the experience. Dead, done, gone, and over with. I got from it what I needed. Now I'm moving forward. It's only the ego that says you need a little more of this or a little more of that. The ego says, but I need to know why. I need to have closure. I need to have resolution. No, you don't. You give it to yourself, you move forward. The ego makes it harder to let go, but the ego is trying to keep you stuck in something that's like molasses. But the soul is like, woohoo, let's fly. I mean, look at this. Look at this person jumping for joy. This is what is awaiting you if you allow it. If you allow it. That's really important. All right, let's tap into our key word. See what's going on here. Nourish. Love it. Such a Virgo card too. So we've got this beautiful apple. We've got this dinner for two, candlelight. It looks a little romantic. And what do they say? An apple a day keeps the doctor away. We were talking about harvest. The apple is still on the tree and it's really healthy and it's vibrant. So the Eight of Wands is saying, listen, letting shit go means you're nourishing yourself, and you're also nourishing your foundation for what is to come. You're tilling the soil. You're reaping the rewards of the harvest, and you're also preparing for the next harvest to come, knowing that it is your birthright, knowing that it's going to come. Again, another card of hope. Nourish has nothing to do with hope, but what I'm seeing, this combination together, you're bringing hope into your space. The Eight of Wands, the release, brings about the hope that allows you to nourish that hope, nourish that space that you've created for the new to come in. Because if that soil is dry and cracked and doesn't have the proper nutrition, it's not going to be able to support the beautiful new thing that's coming into the mix. And that's just the way it is. All right, we're coming up on our Balsamic moon, and the Balsamic moon is on August 30th through to September 1st. Happy September. And this is the last sort of scientific card of our cycle. And ooh, we've got the Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords says it's not a time to be impulsive. Knight of Swords says watch your words. Knight of Swords says, yeah, there's a quest. There's an urgency. There's a need for you. I feel the need for speed. There's an urge for you to move quickly, to make decisions quickly, without second guessing them, but not impulsively. So make it quickly, but it's got to be a calculated risk, and it's got to be done, sort of in the realm of now. I feel a lot of you are going to be running into situations where, again, it comes off of that Eight of Wands. There's a swift release that has occurred. Now I need to make quick decisions about what is to come. It's not a bad thing. Some of you may interpret it as that. You might feel the stress of, oh my God, am I going to make the right choice? Am I going to make the right call? Listen to your intuition. Receive the guidance that comes through. Trust that what's coming through is there for you. See it for exactly what it is. It's an opportunity for something fresh and new. Fresh and new is good. Fresh and new is good. Some of you need to hear that. I feel like it's rewiring the brain. We've been taught that we're supposed to keep everything the same, but that's so that we can be controllable, right? That's the past. moving forward, I get to choose the life that I live. I'm co-creating in every minute of every day the kind of experience that I want to have in this body, on this planet, right? Knight of Swords is saying, take that journey. We don't need to be impulsive with it, but we absolutely can make swift decisions that are not necessarily going to be soul-sucking, that are not going to be bad. I want to say that the Knight of Swords says, listen, there's really no right or wrong choice. Just make a choice. If we go down the wrong path, we'll figure it out and then we'll create a new path. We have the sword. I have the sword. I can create a new path where there isn't a path. But let's just do it. Let's just go. So no delay. Balsamic moon during this time says no delay. Wow. And now we are at our void moon card, the dark moon card. So our dark moon card is not a scientific card. It is more of an energetic card. And it happens in between the balsamic moon time. And it is another card of release. What is it that I'm releasing? And it's happening on August 31st. So this is one of those, I want to say, one of those new moon cycles where it's really pretty much contained all in one single month. It doesn't always work that way every single year, but that's the year that we're in. And oh, I love it. We've got the Ace of Swords. So this card, I feel, is really saying, when you release your attachment to the past, to what you thought was going to happen versus what has actually happened, when you release the attachment to that, the emotional attachment, what you do is you open yourself to a completely intuitive approach to life. And when we live in a very intuitive way, we have no worries about anything because we don't need to bring baggage with us. We just need to be present and tune in to this moment right now. What do I need? Okay, dream team, source, universe, God, whatever floats your boat. I'm standing at a crossroads here. I need to either turn left or turn right, and I don't really know where to go. So I'm just going to sit here for a little while. I'm going to stop and smell the roses. I'm going to, chit chat with people on the path. And I'm open to receiving what the next, urging is. And all of a sudden, somebody crosses your path and I'm like, hey, so-and-so. We met at this party at blah, blah, blue. Oh my God, it's so great to see you. We're going over on this place, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what your plans are, but why don't you come join us? That's that intuition. That's that synchronicity that comes through, but you got to be open to it. You've got to kind of give yourself permission to sit in one spot for a minute with the intention of connecting intuitively to that and saying, I'm open to receiving. That's the action. It's not sitting and waiting for life to happen to you. It's more of okay, I've done all the things I was supposed to do, and now I'm not really sure what the next step is. Let me open myself to receiving. Ace of Swords is inspired thought. It is the inspiration, and it is a new beginning. But I'm hearing for us, it's recognizing I'm putting the past in the past. I've already done the prep work. Right? With that Queen of Laurels. I've already done the prep work. I've prepared my space. I've nourished that space. And now as I move forward, that Ace of Swords is saying, oh, now there's space for me to receive all of that intuition. And I notice how much easier my life is where I'm not having to plan 50 steps ahead and know exactly how it's going to turn out. I'm in a space now where I'm very comfortable with receiving what is in this moment. And that, folks, is evolution. That is ascension. And that's what we're on. Wow. So that is our new moon musings for the August 4th new moon, and what a powerful cycle it's going to be. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you really dive into that wishes fulfilled energy, the 9 of Cups, and really understand that we are co-creating every aspect of our lives. That's where our power lies. Really hold on to that and embrace that. For more like this, please feel free to like, subscribe, and click the bell on my YouTube channel. Also, I would love for you guys to join my completely free Black Feather community. We connect every month. We do all sorts of fun things. in community. It's an opportunity to make friends with like-minded, like-hearted souls. And quite frankly, that's what we need in this world. We need a little more community for those of us who are starseeds, light workers, sensitives, people who love the energy, healers. We all need to kind of band together because now is our time. So feel free to click the link the link below in the description to join. Have a great new moon cycle. We'll see you next time, and transform well.